So I've dodged out in between the storms out here in the UK, and it's grim, it's very, very soft underfoot. And this probably highlights a real weakness in my game, and possibly in your game if you're watching. But what I want to share with you today was something different with chipping that I've been aware of for a number of years, but I've never really tried until now. So I've got a pretty straightforward shot. I've got my sand wedge, 56 degrees in my hands, reasonable lie, set up, play my shot, and sometimes it comes out lovely like that. I'm just releasing a little bit more than I wanted, but there's other times when my strike's just a bit inconsistent, catch it a bit thin, maybe catch the odd one a little bit heavy, and leave myself too much work. So what I'm going to talk about today is how Pete Cowan, with a lot of his players, particularly for short game, and Matt Fitzpatrick still does this and did this when he won the US Open, chips with his left hand below his right. And I'm going to talk you through why I think it is such a good idea for golfers who struggle with the chipping to try, help you understand why it's going to be such a big improvement to your chipping, and really help you hit some quality shots. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is I would normally set up with the ball in the middle of my stance. I'd use my putting grip, and I would get the pressure more on my front foot and just open my chest up a little bit. And like I said, I feel when I get there that I can make a good swing. And that one just felt a little bit clunky, and you can see it landed pretty much where I wanted, but just flew a bit higher and didn't really work. So we're going to keep the ball in the centre. We're going to still get that little bit of pressure forward. I'm going to go left below right. I'm going to feel that the shaft's a bit more upright, a bit more like putter. And the reason it works really well with putting left below right is it gets those shoulders a bit more level, which promotes a little bit more up and down in the stroke, which should make it a bit easier to get that low point ahead of the golf ball. So the first thing I would say is, as you set up with left below right to chip, it does feel, I'm going to say weird, but when I say weird, I actually mean different. And for a lot of us, that can be a good thing. If it feels different, gets rid of those demons that might be in there. So we're going to make a few practice swings, and it definitely feels like my stroke is a little bit more up and down. And we can see there that where I'm grazing the ground, it's definitely a little bit ahead of where the golf ball would be. So I'm going to set up there, not worry too much about where this one finishes, just ball in the centre, pressure forward. And straight away there, the strike felt good, but that one definitely popped up in the air a little bit more than I would normally maybe see. So let's go 2 or 3 of those and just see how the actual swing and the contact feels. So again, I'm going to set up. So definitely a little bit of a higher flight than I would normally see. Obviously I made a bigger swing there, so carried the ball a bit further. And I definitely think with me, and this might be true for you, that when I set up normally, I feel that I get a little bit too much wrist hinge and I kind of drag the club forward, which de-lofts the club for starters, but also gets that leading edge a little bit too involved. And that definitely feels with left below right, like I'm able to keep a bit more loft on the club, but also maybe just use that back edge of the club a little bit better so the club doesn't dig quite as much. So, get myself set, left below right, heel up in the air. Definitely feels different. Definitely feels different, but I love the fact that all 3 of those, even though I've carried them different distances, the flight's been very, very similar. And best one in the world, if the #1 coach in the world uses this with his players, and some of the best players in the world use this as a practice drill, but some of them also use it to play, it's definitely something I should have tried a little bit sooner. So let's go one more, just getting that contact decent. Yeah, I mean, strike-wise, completely different. And then what we've got to talk about is once that strike is good, Now, I'm playing this, like I said at the start, with my 56 degree. I don't necessarily think you should always pick your club before you get to the ball. But once I've got this club in my hand, I need to decide where I'm going to land it. So I think at the moment, I probably need to land the ball. And it is incredibly, it's wet, the surface, so it's soft. Probably want to land it around here. So I just need to make a swing big enough to land the ball there. But I don't know whether you could hear that as I walked across. It's very, very spongy. So the danger is it could dig in, or because the top's a bit wet, it could skid. But all I can do is land the ball where I want. So it's going to be maybe around halfway, just under halfway, and it's going to break a little bit left to right like a putt. So we're going to get there. Couple of practice swings for me, looking at my landing point, and then set up. Landed that a little shorter than I wanted. And it's finished stone dead. So I'd love to say my subconscious worked out I needed to land that a bit further. So didn't play the shot I tried. The result was fantastic, but it probably shows me that with this club I just need to land the ball a little bit closer. But instantly for me, what I've noticed there, I've probably hit 5-6 shots there, and the contact's been great every time. And that's definitely a thing that lets me down with my chipping, is the contact's a little inconsistent, and therefore the distance control's inconsistent, and I don't get the ball near enough the hole with a chance for a one-putt. And comment below if you're one of those golfers that, you know, can hit fantastic shots from distance, but gets round the green and contact becomes really, really poor. Definitely left below right for you. Get those shoulders level. Get that shaft a bit more upright so there's less of the club interacting with the ground. And then make that putting stroke. Let's see if we can chip one in. Landed it a fraction further. Got about 3 feet past, which I'm not bad from 3 feet, but we can't finish on that. Got to chip one in to finish. Left below right. Definitely, I think for me, certainly short term, I'm going to do a lot of chipping like this. Feels really, really good. Push that one a little bit. But I love the fact that the kind of poor ones now are kind of 2-3 feet away, whereas maybe before today, certainly, the good ones are nice and close, but too many kind of getting 6, 7, 8 feet away. But if you do struggle, like I said, if it's the best players in the world are doing it, don't be afraid. Left below right for that chipping. It can almost feel like cheating. It's that easy to strike it. Get those shoulders level, get the shaft upright, ball in the middle, pressure forward, and then nice, easy putting stroke. And I guarantee if the best players in the world are doing it and you struggle with your chipping, it's definitely something you should be trying.